Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another dose of Dismal Disney. We're going to talk about Disney attendance, and this is coming from the Disney Tourist blog. And Tom Bricker, who's been doing this for a very, very long time, he's been watching crowds for a very long time, is noticing a downward trend in attendance at Disney. Now, I know other people have been talking about it. They're saying the crowd levels are down, but like you look at the graph and it's pretty shocking. I mean, we're talking the overall trend is downward, and there are probably a lot of reasons for that. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna try to parse this data. And he does say, hey, look, it's a little nuanced, but he's like, there are days where it actually feels like a ghost town, and it shouldn't, not this time of year. So what's up? Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, give woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
So yeah, this is lowest crowd levels for the last 8 weeks since 2021 at Disney World.
So that's like 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, like clockwork, there's been another off-season slowdown at Disney World. Crowd levels over the course of the last 8 weeks have been the lowest in the last 3 years. Now,
to be fair, it's also hurricane season. And we're having two. One's coming, and then we had one before. So.
That's definitely not going to help. But this downward trend started before hurricane season, and we can speculate as to what's going on. And I think Disney themselves knew this was going to happen because
they said so.
Because they have. I mean, they've got all kinds of metrics, and most people book their trips. They don't do spontaneous trips. They book them 6 months, a year, 2 years out.
Beyond that, they said at the last earnings call, they expect the crowd levels to drop for a few quarters. They already said it. So people are like, oh, hey, we predicted this. Well, it's easy when Disney said that it was going to happen, and it was happened before they said it was going to happen. But okay.
Yeah, but let's try to parse this. He has a lot of information here, and this guy obviously is a numbers guy, but I'm looking at the graph. I'm like, this is a downward trend. This is not what Disney expected. So the wait times report covers numbers for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood, and Animal Kingdom, plus commentary about the why of attendance trends and forward-looking predictions for the remainder of 2024. Hint, not good.
No.
These low crowds are not a new development. Nope. Neither in the last few weeks or in recent years, excluding the post-reopening period. The window between when schools go back into session in August and early October has been the slowest stretch of the year at Disney World for many years. Yeah.
It's also very hot then, too.
September is worse, especially if you're going for food and wine and going to Epcot and it's just concrete. It's awful. The slowdown is hardly breaking news or some unprecedented event. Late summer and early fall crowds are low every year.
True.
The trend didn't even start until he's trying to basically case build, but as he gets into it, you can see that it's
normal, but it's a little bit worse than normal this year.
It's worse than normal.
Yeah.
And I've got some theories, and other people have some theories. The trend didn't even start in August. It just worsened. It was a slow summer in Orlando, and he discussed it in length. This thing, we're not going through this whole thing. It's very, very long.
It's very wordy.
It is. Summer is still not busy at Walt Disney World. However, what is unprecedented? This is where we start getting into it. So he's basically trying to say, like, guys, it didn't just magically start.
This is not incorrect. This is true.
What is unprecedented is the degree to which the parks have slowed down and the consecutive months at this point of the downturn.
Yes, it's been longer than the usual time frame.
So now's a great time to introduce a $25 ham sandwich.
Right, right.
Neither of these things are normal. And that's especially concerning with Epic Universe on the horizon and no new attractions at Disney World until 2027.
I think part of it is people are waiting to go down because they want to go to Epic Universe. So people are saving up money and they're waiting. They're like, if I'm going to go there, I'll just hit Disney World when I go down. I think that's part of it. I also think a big part of it is people don't know how everything is going to be financially.
Yes.
We have a lot of things going on, recession type things and job things and voting, election things, and people are concerned and they're being more cautious about what they spend their money on. I think that is also playing into this.
Yeah, because now he points out I can tell he's trying to be very careful in how he words it because he doesn't want people to run with it and say
he doesn't want to lose his cupcake party privileges.
Or probably not. Yeah, we know how that is. You're not allowed to say anything negative about Disney if you're on Disney's media list, and I think he may be. But he said during the company's most recent earnings call, Bob Iger reiterated, warned investors of attendance softness throughout 2025.
Iger knows a lot about soft.
That's also nothing new, as the company has cautioned of a slowdown in Disney World. Now, here's where it gets interesting. They previously attributed this to the end of revenge travel.
Yes, they did.
Lapping the 50th anniversary and poor weather. Okay.
Yeah, they'll find whatever excuse they can blame it on. Yes, truth.
What's notable now is there's no longer an unfavorable or difficult comparison for Walt Disney World. The 50th and pent-up demand ended over a year ago.
Yep.
The comparisons now are actually quite favorable. In fact, the same stretch was very slow last year and every year, but with some key differences in 2024. The overall trend is down. It's been a gradual decrease since February. That's not normal. Usually February is a slower time and it picks up for spring break.
Yes.
And then it drops again and then it picks up in the summer.
Spring break.
No. They said this year, even with summers being less busy than the last decade, this was the dynamic we're seeing until 2024, that they basically have a kind of an ebb and flow. This year has shown a slow and steady decrease. It's especially rare for May to be busier than July, which is something that never happens, but did this year. Unsurprisingly, August continued that trend and September accelerated it. Thus far, October is even slower than the last 2 months, but it's only 1 week old. That probably won't last. Well, we have a hurricane coming. That's not going to help.
Yeah, you have to take that into consideration as well.
Yeah, so he's like, look, it goes up and down, but I'm like, this is downward. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be doing this, is what he's saying. Like, he's been watching this for a very long time.
This is 2019 data?
This is going back to 2019. That basically we had the spike and Disney's like, yeah, we're roaring back, guys. Everything's great. Yeah, I think people had stimulus money. I think that there were a lot of things going on. I do think the revenge travel to some degree probably was correct, because I think people postponed their trips. They were going to go. They were planning to go in like 2020 and they couldn't go. In fact, we went right before, I think it was like 2 weeks before the lockdown. We were actually going to go back down for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the opening of it, and we canceled because of COVID.
Well, that, and I had a bad ear infection.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, ear infection.
Flying in a plane would be very bad, but it turned out that we dodged a bullet with that one.
But he's talking there are 1 out of 10 crowd levels. He said the park doesn't feel alive. He said it kind of reminds him of summer 2020 when they had, everything kind of open, but not. It was weird. That was a very weird trip. We went during the pandemic and it was weird. All the shields that were up and the masks and the wiping everything down, all that. He said, I enjoy low crowds just as much as the next person, but this is too low for me. I like the parks to feel alive, as people are part of what makes the magic. I kind of like to be able to walk on this stuff.
I'll take a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd take a 1 out of 10. I'd take a manageable 3 out of 10 crowd level over this low of 1 out of 10. Especially true when the weather's hot.
I don't care. I still take a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, he said he was in the parks every day during the first of those stretches. Shocking to see how low crowds were.
25 minutes for Mine Train?
25 minutes
or Mine Pain, as you call it.
Mine Pain in the middle of the day.
Space Mountain, 10 minutes. Flight of Passage was a near walk-on before 3 p.m. Holy shit. I mean, sorry, if you've been a park person for years, that you understand that that's like a holy shit.
Yeah. This
is the party. That's a scary Halloween party. It's a 1 out of 10, but they're supposed to be sold out.
Yeah, I don't think they really are. Okay, so here's how it works, as I understand it, with the Disney is they are very good at creating artificial demand. Like when they have a deal or something, they will allot a certain number of rooms. It doesn't mean that they've actually booked all the rooms. It means that hurry, you got to get a room. And if you don't get it right away, you're not going to get one. Right. But then they'll go back on sale later, just at a higher price. But yeah, I can't stress to you how abnormal this is. Like I've been hearing that the crowds weren't ridiculous, but I thought like, oh, it's a little slower than usual. I did not realize that we were having like 1 out of 10 days now. Well,
I see here, and side note, I do want to reiterate what they're saying here, because this is true. If you're not doing the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, you probably want to park hopper, go to Magic Kingdom on the days of party events, and then hop someplace else, because whenever they have a party event and people don't think they're going to get their money's worth that day, they don't go to that park, they go to other parks. You are best to use that day, that time and when it was low wait times, low crowds, and then hop someplace else before the party. They mentioned that. I've mentioned it before. I just wanted to reiterate. It has nothing to do with what you're talking about. But if you're going to the parks, I highly recommend that strategy.
Yeah.
He said Animal Kingdom was down.
Animal Kingdom's down.
He said it was up and then it was down.
Yeah, it's up and down. Epcot is a wild card, but he expected lower crowds. The ongoing low crowds really caught him off guard. He said he expected lower, when it's not festival season, usually the crowds are lower.
Yeah, but it's festival season.
Yeah, well, that's what he said.
Well, it's wrapping up though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, November. Is it November? Or October?
I think it's November. He said the Food and Wine Festival is not busy. It doesn't have spike crowds.
That's weird because it used to be you couldn't even walk. You go through the World Showcase and you look back and there was like a wall of people.
It's been slightly busier than the summer lows, but not by a whole lot. And keeping in mind that the park is without test track, which should in theory be pushing crowds to other attractions, the park isn't busy. Well, people have caught wind of what a shitty job they did refurbishing it. I'm using that term lightly. I mean, they've destroyed it.
Well, if you want to go to Disney and you have money, now might be the time to go. But expect them to try to upcharge you on everything.
He said, I would be concerned about this if I were Disney management. It underscores why they can't just phone in the festivals and expect locals to eat up the re-microwaved leftovers.
Yes. And they treat their annual pass holders that are locals like crap anyway.
They didn't want us. They didn't want the annual pass holders.
We got rid of our pass.
Yeah, we got rid of ours.
We got tired of it.
Yeah, we were part of the undesirable mix, as Bob Chapek lovingly said. Yeah. It's not looking good, right? So he's got some theories. Universal Orlando's down 9.3%.
It is. I knew Universal's down as well because of people I talked to. But I think a lot of people are waiting until next year, and then they're going to come with a vengeance because we're going to have Epic Universe opening. And I think people, if they're going to take one trip, they want to go there, and they might throw Disney in along with it. But their focus is going to be on Mario and new Wizarding World stuff.
So, and I want to be very clear. This is his take on the blog. These are his opinions, his data, his whatever. And he doesn't want this to become part of the culture war conversation. We're going to have words on why I think this is going on, but they're not his words, right? But he says, turn to commentary. We want to start by making it clear we're not suggesting these low crowds will last forever, that Disney World is doomed, or whatever narrative former fans might want to see advance. This is not what we think at all. We're not trying to advance a narrative. Please don't take my cupcakes away.
Former fans, or like us, they're still fans. We don't want to see Disney fall apart either. So I hope you're not meaning you're not specifically meaning us, but
Yeah. I am going to tell you what is, in my opinion. We can talk about
this is a long article, man.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. So the very first comment, and I think this guy actually nails it. The data is starting to betray a systemic trend downwards. We may want to hold off until October data to have a firmer footing. Well, the hurricane's not going to help.
No, hurricanes are not helping.
No. Maybe even wait to see the end of the year. But my guess is the numbers are going to be materially down. If that's the case, I don't think we can explain the data by the end of post-COVID revenge travel. Ultimately, I think we're going to have to flesh out a new theory. I would propose a 3-factor theory. 1, diminished momentum in the Disney flywheel.
Agree.
Recent movies are not moving the needle.
Agreed.
2, outsized price increases.
Agreed.
And 3, culture war influences.
I do agree with that. I think a lot of people aren't going because they're over Disney.
I agree with that. I do think Epic Universe is a factor, but not as much as the other 3.
I think, okay, how do I word this? I don't think Epic Universe, I think Epic Universe is going to be a threat to Disney next year. I think people might not be going because Epic Universe, but that doesn't mean that those people are going to go to Disney to begin with. I think people who are going to go to Disney to begin with are going to go to Epic Universe and Disney next year. But I don't think that Epic Universe is the sole reason why Disney's doing poorly now. I think it's going to be the reason Disney does poorly next year, possibly. If they do well, it's only because people are visiting both parks. But Epic Universe is going to be a driving factor. But I don't think that's what's caused this problem so much. I can see why attendance is down at Universal because of this. I think people are waiting.
Yeah, they're like, if we're going to go, we're going to go.
We'll just wait till next year. Yeah. No, I think that explains that. And it might explain some of Disney's diminishing returns. I do not believe it explains all of it.
Just as somebody who's been watching this for a very long time, we've been doing this for a very long time.
Very long time.
And I'm telling you right now that the feeling, this is anecdotal, right? The feeling I'm getting is that Disney as a brand is broken, possibly forever, and a lot of people are over Disney. And yeah, it does tie into the culture war
Well,
stuff.
he's trying to say, well, I think Epic Universe is a factor more ahead of the culture war stuff because Universal is seeing a drop this year as well. I agree. And it's largely avoided being drug into the culture wars, I think, which it has. I mean, it has avoided that. But I think, and I don't think they're the same issue. I mean, I think that they how do I want to explain this? I think Universal's seeing that as a drop more because of Epic Universe than Disney is right now. I think Disney's going to see that hit more next year.
Yeah.
But I think they have other reasons that other than Epic Universe is dragging Disney down. I think Universal is seeing it decline because of Epic Universe.
I mean, I understand he's on the media list. He's trying to be unbiased. He knows he doesn't want to get too political, but it really is a political issue on a number of levels. One, Disney costs too damn much. They've outpriced the middle class. They've outpriced upper middle class at this point. $25 ham sandwich, $18 buttered noodles. What the fudge?
Well, he goes on to say, with less than a year to Epic Universe opens, people are already postponing trips to Central Florida for theme parks. Yes, I'd imagine that started in earnest this summer and will continue for the first half of 2025. Well, until Epic Universe opens. I agree. Other factors are likely bad word of mouth because the Lightning Lane, or it's not Genie Plus, is too complicated. Virtual queues, etc., too expensive. The bigger picture trends as consumers trade down from pricier theme park vacations to cheaper, simpler options like the beach. I also agree with that as well. It's too expensive. It's too complicated. That is a very Disney problem.
Yeah, and I think this is how it begins, and you know, we've seen kind of the beginning of the end of Disney World as being like a family vacation destination. I think it started. I would even go back like 8 years. It really has changed, and the people in charge have not done any favors to this company. They've announced several very unpopular changes coming to the parks, and all they've done is increase prices and give you less and less value. They've complicated things. Less for more.
Disney difference.
And there are, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I mean, it's in Florida, for God's sake. It's in Florida. So there are people that are pissed about Disney getting into politics, right? But also the economy is in the shitter right now. People don't have the money to take a regular vacation, let alone a Disney vacation. And I'm sensing overall, because I've seen this with the, we run multiple websites and we've, talked about stuff on YouTube, and there is a definite lack of interest in anything Disney unless Disney is failing.
That's true.
People are
sorry, but it's true.
They're rooting for Disney to fail.
And we're not talking just like in the the toxic circles. We're talking just in general.
Normal fans who have had it with Disney.
I don't think they're rooting for it to fail so much as they're just like, they just tune it out because they're so tired of it.
People used to make booking a Disney trip and collecting Disney kitsch and all that stuff. That was their personality, right? It was like we had the pixie dusters. And look, they're still out there, but there's not nearly as many of them. So many people are like, you know what? I can't. And I'm in that camp right now. I'm like, I cannot defend this company anymore. I'm not even going to try. It's like, you guys, good luck with that. You keep making stupid decision after stupid decision.
Well, they lost a lot of people with the Rivers of America debacle.
That was a huge one for people.
I think if it turns out, depending where they're going to put Muppets, could turn into another situation.
Yes.
I'm hoping that they're looking at the backlash and they're making changes, because they might. And I still don't know yet. They might still bring some Rivers of America back because there's been so many complaints. But we'll see. A lot of times, like, Iger thinks he's above everybody, so who knows?
Iger needs to go. But I'm telling you, if they put Dana Walden in, it's going to get worse. Mm-hmm. Like, she's going to make things. I mean, she's the one who said that they passed on very, very good sitcom pitches because the cast was too white. It's like, yeah, that's not gonna work. Just go back to being Disney. Like the Disney we knew. This is what's so depressing about this. And I was kind of talking about it in the Halo video earlier today, is you get to a place where you realize that franchise or that brand is never going to be what it used to be again, because the people in charge weren't the people that were the founders of it. And we don't have anybody at Disney that thinks like a Disney or thinks like Walt anymore. All the old Imagineers, most of them are gone, or they're ignored, or they got pushed out. We don't have a Michael Eisner. I mean, people have a lot of, they have a lot of fault with, or they find a lot of fault with Michael Eisner, but he at least respected what Walt started and wanted to continue it. And Bob Iger doesn't give a shit. His flunkies don't give a shit. They really don't. All they want to do is maximize profits. And the Disney we knew, the Disney we grew up loving, it doesn't exist anymore. Nope. And that's what people are feeling. They're just like, you know what? I'm over it. And I think the pandemic made it very easy to jump off. They're like, you know what? Hey, we went for 2 years without going to Disney. Guess what? We could do that for forever. We could just not go anymore and save a lot of money, right? Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. You're like falling asleep. I think you're over Disney too. We're going to fall.
Yeah.
You're over me talking about it.
I'm mostly over you talking about it, but yes.
It's sad though. It is sad, but it's over and done with, and I think we're going to see a downward trend for sure. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.